In most races or long runs, things are going to happen along the way, and there's a lot of opportunities to either mentally slip or lose track of kind of what you're doing with your nutrition or where, where you're trying to get by what time. And so, I put a lot of time into the training, being very intentional about managing my pace, but also running in bad weather. We ended up with a lot of it, so that worked out pretty well. And so if I stick to a plan, I've learned, I think I just need to trust myself that I've done the work, and sticking to the plan will get me the result that I want to get.
Take a good time.
Doing all right, feeling good.
Nice.
I struggle the most with being away from my family. We're pretty close family, so knowing that my kids are at an age where they need a lot of attention, and they have a ton of energy, and knowing that I leave my wife to kind of deal with that. So anytime you engage in one of these endeavors that take up a lot of time, I think they say it takes a village. It certainly does, because the time that you're away training or away for the event, someone else has to kind of pick up that slack. And so inevitably that falls to my wife, Elizabeth, and my father-in-law is incredibly helpful.
Yeah. All right. 30.2?
Yeah,
That's about right?
That's about right.
Awesome.
I've walked away from races just completely physically destroyed, where I've seen, my kids get upset because daddy can't walk, up the stairs. And it's like, I want to walk out of here the same way I walked in, right? And so that when I finish, I can, give them a hug and play with them Saturday afternoon, right? And so that's definitely been in my mind along the way too. Ultimately, you're out there for a lot of time, and we had a lot of visibility challenges, right? So I was in a beautiful part of Pennsylvania, and I didn't get to see a lot of it because visibility was like a quarter of a mile in every direction for a lot of it. So I think a number of people asked me, hey, did you enjoy Black Shannon State Park? And I was in it in the dark and in the fog, so maybe I'll get back another day to be able to enjoy it when the weather's a little bit clearer. I trained on a lot of hills because I knew that there was going to be a lot of elevation change on my route. However, where I live, most hills are only, maybe a quarter mile up. And so I had some really extended climbs. That was really challenging, and I knew that I was kind of not prepared for that, but I knew that I could kind of just figure it out as I got out here. And so maybe I lucked out. Maybe the plan of being conservative, paid dividends specifically on the elevation changes. And then similarly, it's easy to get to the top of a hill that you've walked halfway up and decide, all right, I can run now, and just hammer down it and destroy your quads. And so I tried to also be very guarded there to make sure that I didn't go flying down the hill, and I took my time to make sure that I preserved my body for the next day. If I was 15 years younger, I probably would have not had that strategy and probably be in a lot of pain right now. I was very purposeful in making sure that I came out much slower than I wanted to be, with the goal of really trying to maybe not run negative splits, which I didn't ultimately do, but always thinking about what's ahead of me and not in the moment. Today's probably the only day where I got a little bit in the moment as the hurricane chased me down from behind, and so I kind of hammered down a little bit more. But generally speaking, yes, sticking to the plan worked really, really well this week. MS Run the US is important because it takes a very connected community of runners and connects it to a worthwhile cause. There's one big organization, the MS Society, that supports MS. And so when you have more variety and more ways to go about supporting things that fit different people's interest levels, I think that that's good. You draw some people into to the cause that maybe wouldn't have been drawn in otherwise. And I've only been running for about 5 years now, but what I've learned is the running community is extremely supportive of each other. And so it doesn't even matter what your cause is. If you're a runner, you're automatically connected to other runners.
Another 4?
All right.
Only a couple more.
It'll be right before the turn up the highway.
Okay, that'll be perfect. Yeah, that's a good place to stop. I'm gonna miss you guys.
For me, the initial why was, my mom has MS, so that's the clear and obvious why. The challenge beyond just her having MS is that my family lives 3 hours away, and we're very close. I talk to my mom every day on the way home from work. That's like our 15 minutes to kind of connect for the day. To be able to, in a situation where I can't see her as often as I'd want to, be able to take on these training runs and not only have our 15-minute conversation on the phone every day, but then go out and run a training run for an hour, hour and a half, or 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday, and know the entire time that I'm doing that, although I'm not with her, in my mind, I'm doing something to help her. It can be sort of a helpless feeling sometimes where you want to do something to help someone in need, but you're not physically right there. And so it's like, what can I do to help in some way without actually being able to physically, like, hey, can you go get me something to eat from the kitchen? Because it's hard for her to get there sometimes, things like that. So it's been a way for me to feel close to her without actually being as close to her as I'd like to be.
I couldn't do all of this without everybody's support. So some of you watch the kids. Some of you have done a lot of other things to help us while I've had to go on these long training runs. So I appreciate everybody a lot. Thank you so much. Love you guys.
All right, good job.
Let's eat.
My name's Dave Remm, and I ran 148 miles from Brookville, Pennsylvania to Sunbury, Pennsylvania for MS Run the US.
Nice and dry. You look comfortable in there. It's nice in there. What? All right, I'll see you guys in town.